The first thing we need to do is make sure that we have a good pre-reading to build our understanding on. So the first step is to skim to answer the question, why read this? And when we skim, we look for important words and sentences, not just repeating, but words that repeat and ideas that repeat are often important. That's why we circle them. Remember, we're just looking for words, looking for sentences or ideas that seem to be important. We're guessing, and we might be wrong. That's okay, but we try our best anyway, and we get better and better at it the more we practice. Okay, so the title is On the Happy Life, and here in the first line we see all men wish to live happily. Okay, great. What makes life happy? There it is again. Wrong road, that seems important. Opposite direction, that's the similar idea to wrong road. Looking, well here, first define, we use dictionaries in class, definitions are important. Keep going, wander at random, talking about roads, not wandering. Keep going. Don't see anything that jumps out at me here, but here he talks about sheep. We should not, he's telling us what to do, should not like sheep. That seems important to me. A crush of people, it's easy to understand, seems important. Brings us to ruin, big results maybe. Okay, done. So we have crush of people, brings us to ruin. Flocks of sheep, wandering at random, defining, living happily. And to me, it seems like he's answering this question, right? How to live happily, and maybe risks about it. So I'll just write, why read this? How live happily. Good reason to read it. Next step, what's the gist? So we have our words, and we should really add to this like ideas, and now we need to find what is the gist, what's the main idea of this. And in order to find the gist, remember, we read through without stopping, and as we're reading, we underline things that jump out at us, that we understand, because we don't stop to think, we don't stop, certainly not to get our dictionaries out. We just read through and we underline things that we understand, that seem interesting to us. All men, Brother Gallio, wish to live happily, but are dull at perceiving exactly what it is that makes life happy. And so far is it from being easy to attain happiness that the more eagerly a man struggles to reach it, the further he departs from it if he takes the wrong road. For since this leads in the opposite direction, his very swiftness carries him all the further away. We must therefore first define clearly what it is at which we aim. So define what it is. Next, we must consider by what path we may most speedily reach it. For on our journey itself, provided it be made in the right direction, we shall learn how much progress we have made each day and how much nearer we are to the goal towards which our own desires urge us. Nothing in these lines really jumped out at me, and I didn't really understand it that well, so I just kept reading. But as long as we wander at random, this I understand, not following any guide except the shouts and discordant clamors of those who invite us to proceed in different directions, our short life will be wasted in useless roamings. This I understand. Life will be wasted, especially this, in useless roamings, even if we labor both day and night to get a good understanding. Let us not, therefore, decide whither we must tend and by what path without the advice of some experienced person. This I understand. Advice without the advice of some experienced person who has explored the region which we are about to enter. because this journey is not subject to the same conditions as others. For in them, some distinctly understood track and inquiries made of the natives make it impossible for us to go wrong. But the most beaten and frequented tracks are those which lead us the most astray. Tracks lead us the most astray. Nothing, therefore, is more important than we should not, like sheep, follow the flock. I understand this. Should not, like sheep, follow the flock that goes before us, and thus proceed not whither we ought, but whither the rest are going. Now nothing gets us into greater troubles than our subservience to common rumor, and our habit of thinking that those things are best which are most generally received as such, of taking many counterfeits for truly good things, and of living not by reason, but by imitation of others. This is the cause of those great heaps into which men rush till they are piled on upon another in a great crush of people. I understand this. When the crowd presses upon itself, no one can fall without drawing someone else down upon him, and those who go before cause the destruction of those who follow them. You may observe the same thing in human life. No one can merely go wrong by himself, but he must become both the cause and the advisor of another's wrongdoing. Okay, I understand this. He becomes the cause of another's wrongdoing. It is harmful to follow the march of those who go before us. Harmful to follow those who go before us. And since everyone had rather believe another than his own opinion, than form his own opinion, we never pass a deliberate judgment upon life, but some traditional error always entangles us and brings us to ruin, and we perish because we follow other men's examples. We should be cured of this if we were to disengage ourselves from the herd, but as it is, the mob is ready to fight against reason in defense of its own mistake. Consequently, the same thing happens as at elections, where, when the fickle breeze of popular favor has veered round, those who have been chosen consuls and praetors are viewed with admiration by the very men who made them so. That we should all approve and disapprove of the same things is the end of every decision, which is given according to the voice of the majority. Right. Now we look at our underlines. What it is that makes life happy. Takes the wrong road further away. Define what it is. Wander at random. Life will be wasted in useless roamings, without the advice of some experienced person. Tracks that lead us most astray. We should not, like sheep, follow the flock that has gone before. The crush of people, the crowd presses itself, becomes the cause of another's wrongdoing. Harmful to follow. Harmful to follow. Becomes the cause of another. Crush of people. These are negative things, right? Not like sheep follow. Life will be wasted in useless roamings. All of this, if we had to summarize how to live happily, well, don't follow, right? Because he gives all of these ideas here. Wrong road. Wander at random. Life will be wasted. We should not, let me bring that up. We should not, like sheep, follow. Crush of people. The cause of another's wrongdoing. Harmful to follow. He says it several times, that we should not follow. And that, now we have a strong gist and a strong skim level understanding also. And now we can get ready to understand 100%. And if we're ever confused about what we're reading, we just have to go back to our gist. Remember, he's telling us, don't follow. I'm going to make another video about reading this analytically and annotating.